Howdy everybody, welcome back to the channel. Just finished my first quote-unquote combatives class with Cliff Byerly of Hill Country Combatives. He hosted or came into town back in September doing an EDC weapons retention class. So I wanted to give y'all my after action report and my thoughts on that class. The purpose of this class was weapons retention on your end, so making sure somebody doesn't grab your firearm or your weapon, keeping your assailant from accessing theirs, and then being able to control them and move into positions, get into positions to where if you need to, you can check that person to see if they have anything on them, or if you need to deploy your own, you can do that. So first off, I thought Cliff did a phenomenal job. I loved the class. There was no reinventing the wheel. He did a fantastic job of kind of the snowball effect, building blocks effect of teaching, starting from one perspective or one move and then building on top of that. It's kind of the same way that I like to teach when I'm working with new shooters. So I really appreciated that. But yeah, guys, I enjoyed the class, and I'm going to tell you this before I go any further. Guys, if all you do is take combatives classes and you are not training some type of ground fighting, wrestling, jujitsu, sambo, whatever, you are wrong. Those half-day, one-day, weekend classes once a year, you're not going to remember that stuff when the time comes. So stop kidding yourself. If you're serious about learning how to fight, if you're serious about learning about combatives, guys, you've got to train day in and day out. That's with anything in life, with shooting or whatnot. You got to continue to practice, repetition. You got to ingrain that stuff into your subconscious. But I digress. Like I said, I really enjoyed the class. Cliff is a black belt Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I believe he's been training about 13 years, if not longer. He's also got a history in the Marine Corps, and then I think he also spent time in LA working some narcotics as a detective over there. So he's got some legit real world experience. But essentially what the class was, guys, it was jiu-jitsu and wrestling. Like I said, he didn't reinvent the wheel, but he did start kind of that snowball effect, building blocks effect. So the first thing that we actually went over is head control. Head control from the standing position. One of the things that I loved about this is the fact that I've been training jiu-jitsu for about 4.5 years, and so a lot of this stuff is things that we have been working on in class, drilling every single day. There were a few minor changes that I had to adjust for a quote-unquote street scenario, but everything else was jiu-jitsu. So I really enjoyed the fact that I didn't learn necessarily anything new, just different ways to apply it. So head control from standing, it's the same thing that we do as side control. It's that same shoulder pressure, head pressure right into their jaw when we are controlling somebody from the side. You're just doing it from a standing position. So I really enjoyed that. Once we went from head control, we started going over pummeling. Guys, those who have the underhooks have the control. If there is one thing that you need to practice, it is your pummeling. It's working on your underhooks, getting those arm drags. So from there, like I said, head control, we went to pummeling, learning underhooks, and then we also learned how to break grips and go into an arm drag. So like you said, we're building on top of everything. So pummeling to arm drags, and then from arm drags, we went to a body lock side control. Once again, all this is, in jiu-jitsu, I play a lot of half guard, Z guard. We refer to it as our gym as the dog fight. It's a strong underhook, controlling that cross face, and then also you can do a bunch of stuff from there, kick out their knee, or kind of, I refer to it as reaping the leg, pulling the leg out, and doing a takedown from there. That's essentially what Cliff was teaching. It was the underhook, dog fight, control that outside arm. It's controlling your opponent from a body lock position. From there, depending on what's going on, if they have a weapon, you can prevent them from gaining access to that weapon, or if you need to pull yours out and do work, you can do it from there. So once we work to body lock side controls, those bicep ties, those wrist ties, Cliff started to incorporate some takedowns in there. And once again, One of my favorite takedowns is when I have that position, it's that inside leg trip. So that inside leg trip, taking that person down and then doing what you need to do. When Cliff started talking about side control, that's all jiu-jitsu. There was a minor tweak that he talked about when you are cross-facing somebody on the streets. You do have to be aware of somebody trying to bite you. He gave us a story on that, but just a minor tweak to fix that and correct that position. But once again, controlling from side control, guys, Keisagatami, reverse Keisa. And then he talked about, and then he showed some moves on the step over to mount, and then immediately sets up a head and arm triangle if that's what you need to do. That is essentially what my jiu-jitsu game is. Mount to head and arm triangle. That is my bread and butter. So when Cliff was just showing this, like I said, guys, it was just a simple refresher, just tweaking a few things from there. Last, he went over open guards. So what that is, let's say somebody, you end up on your back for some reason. Somebody cold cocks you, or you lose your balance, somebody pushes you back, you trip, whatever. You got to learn to fight off your back. And so he talked about concepts that he likes from open guard, controlling the hips, inside hooks on the knee and underneath the armpit to control your person. And then from there, he likes to transition to a Z guard or a half guard. Once again, that's what I love to play. From there, you've got a bunch of different options. You can kick out legs, you can make that person post, and then he showed a pretty cool Kimura trick that can control the other person, not necessarily going for the submission, but control that other person, allowing you to hip out and then accessing your weapon. So once again, guys, I loved the class. I thought it was phenomenal. It just built on everything that I've been doing for the last several years in jiu-jitsu. He didn't reinvent the wheel, but he does a great job of putting all the pieces together and helping you understand different concepts and understand why we do certain things. Each thing that he taught built on top of what he covered previously. So like I said, it was that snowball effect. That's how I like to teach, and I really, really enjoyed it. But guys, once again, Hill Country Combatives, highly recommend them. If you ever see them coming to your area, go and check them out. Cliff is an outstanding instructor. He's a great teacher. I've actually been in a pistol class with him. We took a Scott Jedlinski class back in the spring of 2020. And so Cliff goes out and trains. He puts his money where his mouth is. So Hill Country Combatives, highly recommend it. Once again, guys, don't fool yourselves. If all you're doing is combatives classes once a year, maybe doing that one day or that half day class, and you think you're going to remember that when the time comes, you are sorely mistaken. Get in some type of academy, get in some type of dojo, some wrestling gym, learn how to do that stuff day in and day out. One of the things that I really appreciated, there were a couple guys in there that trained jiu-jitsu. I think me and another gentleman who was actually a local cop and probably has significant more experience than me. He's an MMA fighter. You could actually see when me and this other individual were working with other people doing drills, we were very easily able to control our breathing, control our movements. A lot of other people were very, very spastic because they had never been in that position before. But being able to control your body, control your breathing, have a clear mind, knowing what you're doing, that is very, very key. So once again, 2 thumbs up, Hill Country Combatives. Guys, go check them out. Cliff Byerly. Phenomenal, phenomenal class. It just reaffirms what I do in jiu-jitsu. It reaffirms the techniques and the moves that I do. Guys, combatives is wrestling, it's jiu-jitsu, judo, sambo, it's all the same. It all works together. So guys, appreciate you for watching. Be safe, be smart, be skilled. Catch you on the next video.